Today in the crypto space, we see the market in a bit of green. Bitcoin still hovering around that $38,000 level. However, the altcoins looking pretty good. Ethereum at about 2,000, and the rest of them doing pretty good. We have Polkadot up, Injective, Tau, and many others. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin, one project that is looking really hot, and that project is called Neoxa. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate that strategy, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Feel free to join me on those socials, and of course the Discord, guys. The Discord is a great community, lots of good alpha trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's look at the general market first. We'll kind of go through the top 100, then we'll get into Bitcoin, see what's going on with Bitcoin, because it could definitely give us an indication of what could be happening in the altcoin market, in the market in general. And of course, today's video is about Neoxa, but I think that Bitcoin could give us an indication of what is around the corner. All right, so let's begin here. Bitcoin doing its thing, still kind of going sideways, still kind of hesitating right around that $38,000 mark. I don't expect anything drastic to happen unless we break below some critical levels of support, or we break to the upside, breaking above that $39,000, $40,000 level. That's when things start to get interesting, right? Because that's where we could get a short squeeze to the upside, or we start testing bottom support levels where we start breaking below to hit those bearish price targets, right? And of course, in tonight's live stream, we can take a look at Bitcoin in a little bit more detail. And of course, any requests, guys, that's a great time and place to make them tonight at 7:30 Eastern. All right, let's continue here. What else do we have? And you can see, generally speaking, the altcoin market is not doing the greatest. Like, it's just kind of going sideways. Dogecoin waking up just a little bit, guys. I anticipated that Dogecoin will eventually wake up. The risk to reward ratio was absolutely healthy, and I think it's a safe thing to say that Dogecoin could be getting a catalyst as soon as Elon starts to speak about Doge. And of course, Doge is one of those projects that does definitely pop up when Elon speaks about it. So I'm anticipating something to be in the works with regards to Doge very, very soon. All right, if we continue going down, we do see some of these altcoins. Polkadot looking pretty good, 5% to the upside. That's not bad. One of the top gainers right now, but it's only 5% if you think about it. Lido doing okay, 4%, but really lower lows and lower highs. Do we get a pivot point? Thorchain Rune still looking pretty good. But at the end of the day, as it kind of hesitates here, the question is, does it get a bit of a rollover, come down so we can buy the dips, or is Thorchain Rune just going to continue to the upside? It's been a top gainer for the last little while, so I'm anticipating that we can get a bit of a rotation, see some of the capital, some of the gains cycle into other projects that have yet to move, and that would be a healthy thing for the altcoin season in general when we do get that season. New York Protocol looking pretty good, going sideways, at least holding structure, maybe getting a big picture bull flag to the upside. I definitely want to take keep an eye on NEAR tonight. In the live stream, we'll take a look at NEAR. I'm going to put it on the list, and of course, I'll put your requests in top priority. NEAR is on the list right now. I find that quite interesting that it's consolidating the way it is. It could be an ascending triangle to the upside, so definitely something to keep an eye on. Mantle looking pretty good. Injective, 5% to the upside, fairly healthy. What else do we have here? If we continue going down, Theta Network, not bad, 10% in the last 7 days. Tia Celestia looking okay too, 10% in the last 7 days, up 4%. But, is it looking for a break of the previous high? Possible. Is it going to get another extension to the upside? possible. All these things are very possible. What you got to keep in mind is that Celestia has been already running significantly prior to this level. So something to understand is that, sometimes, the party and it does end eventually. And the reality is cycling into projects that are at good risk to reward ratio opportunities is a lot better and healthier for your capital. Especially with the fact that when things run up really hard, there's a lot of volume gaps below that could act as weakness. So my opinion is wait for pullbacks if you're going to get into fresh longs on many of the top gainers. It's just healthier for your positions. Keep on going down. WeMix looking pretty good, 8% to the upside. Miner Protocol, okay, still kind of bouncing at the bottom. It looks like it might be looking for a nice bounce to the upside, but this is a short-term time frame type of chart. So just keep in mind that it's in a consolidation going sideways still. IOTA getting a pullback down 15%, guys. Remember what I just said. When things run up really hard, just understand that there are volume gaps below that will cause weakness, weak spots in the chart that allows the price to fall a lot easier. So, you do like the pops, you do like the pumps to the upside. They're great for your portfolio, but you got to be really aggressive with taking profits, or else you're going to have to give back some to the market. What else do we have? Any other opportunities? 2.9% for PancakeSwap, waking up just a little bit, and Rollbit up 4%, not bad, but generally speaking, lower lows and lower highs just as we speak. Could be a pivot point to the top, just a little bit of a bounce possible. It does look like an inverse head and shoulders type of structure here at the bottom, but nonetheless, it's good to see it up 4%. Guys, general market pretty much sideways, a little bit of a dip. There's some good gainers overall, but generally speaking, it's pretty sideways, generally speaking. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin taking a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, at the end of the day, is still within its range, still within its structure, trailing to the upside, very slow grind, nice channel to the upside that statistically speaking should break down bearish. Unfortunately, that is the reality. Now, as we get closer to that 40K level, and as we continue to hang out in the zone, we start to lose confidence. We start to lose confidence that Bitcoin may continue to the upside. And in fact, maybe what we want to see is a fire sale, an opportunity to buy Bitcoin at lower levels so we can get more bullish bids into the price action. Again, in anticipation for a continuation to the upside, sometimes what we need is that price catalyst. A dip, buy the dip, and then spike to the upside. All right, guys, let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. What I really do feel is ultimately, if we don't get bullish bids on these highs, you can understand why, right? The price is already really high up there in the sense that it already ran over 100%, almost 120% from its bottom. The reality is getting into a fresh long on Bitcoin has its risks given those facts, right? So what we will be looking at is basically a bit of a pullback. What we want to do is get in where things don't look so frothy. Bitcoin, at the end of the day, right now is a bit frothy, despite the ETF, despite all the bullishness. I understand that the bullish thesis is very hard, very easy to argue. It's very bullish right now. I get it. But things do happen. Dips do happen regardless. So getting absolutely bullish right now in a fresh long on Bitcoin, you're asking that for a bit of trouble if we start rolling over, or else you're going to have a long-term, mindset. Meaning you're going to have to hold throughout dips, hold for the next year to 2 years, and then it's very likely that you'll see Bitcoin, of course, hit those higher levels and get you into some significant profit. But in the short term, it's very likely that we see Bitcoin come down to pick up bullish bids because I don't see any bulls buying right at this current moment. Buy low, sell high, not buy high. This is really high right now. As I said, Bitcoin has ran up over 100% from his bottom. Now, if you look at the momentum, kind of stagnant here, very choppy, no real volatility in overbought or oversold conditions on the 4-hour. The daily exiting overbought conditions, perhaps looking for a full reset to oversold. Guys, and if it does happen, it's expected that Bitcoin does come down to some lower levels. Guys, my targets, 31,000, first target. After that, I'm looking at about 25, and then I'm hoping that, we don't go lower than about 20, 22. After that, guys, things start to look really, really, the fear is going to be out there and lurking, and that's when we potentially could get even better fire sales, especially on the altcoins. When fear hits the market, unfortunately, that's when people start to capitulate, even on shorter time frames, right? Usually we talk capitulation on larger time frames, meaning, big picture, big runs, but it happens happens, even on the shorter time frames. People capitulate, people sell on losses and walk away very disturbed, and because they're overexposed and over leveraged and things like that. So in the medium short term, I'm expecting the daily to kind of give us a bit of a structure still. Even if we do come down, get a bounce, come down, get a bounce, the momentum could get up just a little bit and then roll over. So I'm going to be very patient here with expecting Bitcoin to kind of just fall so quickly. It's likely that we hang around the zone for a bit more before we get more signals. All right, guys, that's my take on Bitcoin. Let's get right into the token for today. It is NEOX, Neoxa. Of course, this thing has been running. And guys, I got in at a great time. We've been talking about this project on the Discord, dabbling in, talking about its fundamentals, guys. And at the end of the day, I'm ready to deploy a deep dive. I'm going to be doing a deep dive on Neoxa. I'm going to be releasing it on Sunday, so prepare for that one. Make sure you click that bell so you don't miss out on it. Guys, it seems very, very interesting, to the point that in fact they have some bullish news today. It was just released about an hour ago or so. They were able to basically include Fortnite in their offerings. Basically, if you understand what this is allowing gamers to do, is basically earn on traditional games, a Web 2 games. And that is really, really good value proposition for those gamers out there that want to earn coin while they're playing their traditional games, right? So this is a good one. Fortnite players can now earn, and it's live. So this is a good update with regards to the ecosystem and allowing more utility. And of course, it's already been running. Even prior to this news, we entered on the channel more or less right here. This is where I entered, where I gave my signals that I was interested as a breakout. Okay, so that was my thing. I think this was my entry, or maybe down here. I don't remember, but honestly, my entry was a little lower. It wasn't the bottom. It was a nice bullish divergence. We got the rally. I think I got in on a breakout. I just YOLO'd it, and at the end of the day, now we're up. Okay, so the reality is getting into a fresh long right now is kind of scary, to be honest. I'll be really, really frank with you. Getting in on a fresh long at this time means that you're basically buying on the impulsive move on the daily. However, guys, we're not completely overbought, number one. Number two, that's very bullish news that I just shared with you guys. It's very possible that it could be a catalyst for continuation. Number three, what about a bull flag and a continuation where maybe this thing could go to 2.618, 3.618 extensions like many other projects did already in this small rally that we've been having in the last little while. So this is the thing here, guys. We can't cut these runs short-lived. The reality is, if the fundamentals are getting more bullish news, and the project is looking sound, and of course the deep dive is around the corner, and I'll give you my full analysis as to what I think about the project. No project is perfect. However, guys, this so far with regards to price action looks pretty healthy, but we have to understand that there's some issues. The issue is that you have to be able to endure a dip, right? Because you're buying high, you're not buying lows. So the daily's not really giving you that complete big picture, because we need to see what's going on in this price action. Now, by the time that the daily shows us some data here, it's going to take time. We need a consolidation here on the daily. It might hover around the zone for a little bit, get a bit of a retracement and so on. But we can see one of a clear metric that we could use, which is the volume. If you look at the volume, we do have the beginning of the majority of the volume. The majority of the accumulation was right into the zone. We have the point of control here. Lots of volume in this area. And if you look at what's going on here, even if we do a Fibonacci retracement, let's see what happens. Swing low, let's say this is the high, and we come right back down to a golden pocket retracement, which is very, very confluent with two parts here. Two things that are confluent. Number one, the breakout. Number two, the volume gap. Number three, the previous high, this high right here that could act as support. So for me, this is really good, and we have a bit of this price action looking left here as well. So this is really good in the sense that if we do roll over, and mind you, guys, I just made my notice on my on the Discord. Feel free to join, guys. I may notice that I am overexposed at the current moment. I bought more just now based on the news. Now, I am okay to take a hit and take it on the chin if it does come down. I'm okay with that. I'll raise capital. I'll be trading. I've been doing, trading and making some great gains on other projects that I'm willing to cycle those gains into Neoxa if it does come down to lower levels. I'm bullish on it, so I'm putting my money where my mouth is and essentially acting upon fundamentals. And that's the beauty about being fundamentally bullish, is that when the red days do come, you are happy. You don't mind scaling in on red days. If you're not fundamentally bullish, fear kicks in because you are not confident in what the project is offering in regards to its value proposition. So this is where we're at. Retracement is possible. Look at the empty volume gap. It's not completely empty. We've got to be real here. There is some volume, however, nothing in comparison to this huge support level down here at about 0.00296 ish. Okay, so this is where we're at now. Could we retrace? Possible. We're not overbought on the daily. Could we actually get overbought? Just mind you that when it does, and if it does get overbought, that's where you get the majority of the impulse to the upside. And if it does, I'm going to be quick to balance out my portfolio. I'm way overexposed right now on NEOX, and I am going to take profit on the next impulsive move if we are lucky to get that, because at the end of the day, I want to be in a healthy balance of my portfolio. I don't want to be overexposed because it's too risky. So at the end of the day, taking profits will reduce my exposure and obviously reduce my risk, but taking profits off the table allows me to hunt for another project. That's the fun part. Start looking for new projects with great fundamentals, right? So still, overbought needs to be reached. The MACD EMAs are nice green histogram bars. EMAs are facing up, looking still bullish. Let's get on the 4-hour. The 4-hour is giving you a better picture in the sense that you can see the consolidation. The consolidation as it forms here, we could build more supply and demand, and we could build a clear volume gap below. Okay, the reality is that the ice line, basically the invalidation point, is not clear. It's a diagonal. You can see it is moving diagonally. In fact, it's quite rounded, right? So a little bit rounded here. It does look like some sort of triangular formation. If you exclude the wicks, it looks somewhat symmetrical. Let me show you what I mean. Somewhat symmetrical. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? But a symmetrical triangle is a continuation pattern, and a symmetrical triangle would suggest in this case that a bullish move to the upside is possible. Now you can see based on this triangle that we are breaking out, basically breaking out of this symmetrical triangle. But again, it's all about the time frame. Let's go on the 1 hour quick. The 1 hour is going to give you a bigger picture, a better picture of what's really happening here. We have support here. Nice bottoms, all kinds of support here, previous high, and it could be possible that we start breaking to higher levels. Okay, so I don't trade the 1 hour, but you can see lots of support here on the at the ice line of the RSI. We got a bounce here, overbought, bounce here. Do we get overbought again and get into the extreme levels of overbought conditions based on the daily? Remember, I showed you the daily already. The daily is not overbought. So if it gets there, we're going to expect that the 4 hour is going to go overbought again. It's likely to get another leg up to get the daily overbought. The MACD right here on the 4 hour is looking for that EMA cross. So let's get that green histogram bar going. If you look at the 1 hour, it's already printing that green bar. EMA is facing up. So in the short term, it's likely that we start getting some bullish move to the upside, and we could get this pattern to continue up. And this is the premise. Now, based on this, what we have to do is take a measured move. Okay, and I excluded the wicks. I usually include the wicks, but let's be very modest here, because greedy traders get punished, right? And here we are. The reality is taking a bit of profits at the pattern completion zone, which would basically be at the top of this these wicks, you know, 0.0058 more or less, wouldn't be bad. Take a bit of profit, take your initial investment off the table, de-risk a little bit. And what we're really talking about is some gains, right? Where we're talking about what kind of percentage? We're talking about a 25% move. Now, if you're in on it, 25% is decent, right? Take a bit of profit, trail up a stop loss, let it run if it's going to run. The reality is the entry is not the best. And that's why you got to be really aggressive about taking profits, because you don't know if we're going to roll over eventually. We're in price discovery number one. You know, where could this go with regards to price discovery? All you could really use is Fibonacci, right? And even still, it's very difficult to use fib levels because there's no real peaks and valleys right here, right? There's not really anything to use. You could use this, swing high, swing low. Maybe we hit the 2.618, got rejected. Do we get to the 3.618? I think the use of Fibonacci here is pretty weak, so I'm not really going to use it. And that's all you really got here. So on the next impulsive move, whatever it is, as soon as I see a bit of resistance, and I'm expecting, again, at the top of these wicks, I will be happy to take a bit of profits off the table and walk away, because ultimately a bit of a structure here, even if we do come up, you know, come back down, you know, who knows what could happen here, and then we start making very clear invalidation lines, and that's what I believe, that's what I would be looking for in order to expect to come down here. Until then, bullish continuation patterns should be considered bullish moves to the upside, right? And take profits accordingly to reduce your risk. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a huge favor and slap the like button. I'm going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern talking about crypto news and price action, so feel free to join with those requests. If you want to follow me on those socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is a great community, lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.